Hello, guys. Today we are starting our wonderful journey to the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. There are millions of books, and they are all different in their purpose. But today I want to talk only about books who transform our lives to a new level and make our lives happier and make us more fulfilled. I want to talk about books which was written the best minds in the world. And The Power of Now, how I mentioned already, is a completely different set of mind. Please keep it in mind. And everything what we was talking about, I don't want to repeat. However, it's very important that as a different book, keep your mind open and try to grasp and understand, because in order to understand wisdom, you need to be wise. Be patient. And let me, Valentina, ask a question. Valentina, you will be today number one, because all those guys, they're very tricky and they know answers on all questions. What do you think? What is the most difficult thing in the world?
To be present to be present.
Very good answer. What do you think, guys? Today we don't need to raise hands, okay? Just you
to be
can
conscious, yeah, to be present, to be conscious, be mindful, not so focused on the past and future.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. Brian, what do you think?
Oh, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, it's definitely. I love the answer, Valentina, by the way. I think that's a great answer. But really, it's the challenge is to be present, to be here now.
Wow, yeah. It's so great answer that I don't know. My answer would be that change yourself. But your answer is so great that I actually don't know. Let's don't compete, right? It doesn't matter whose answer is better. I completely agree, Valentina, and with you guys that it's difficult. And change yourself, it's one of the hardest thing as well. But do you know what I came to the, not solution, the idea that in order to change yourself, you need to know what to change. How much and how long and how many people are living unconsciously. Do you know what I see? I'm talking to a person and we are talking about something, and the person is saying to me, yes, that's right. This is the correct thing to do, but I know that that person doesn't do it. And a person, when he's talking to me, he's conscious and he's telling, or she is telling to me, yes, that's right. But at the same moment, that person doesn't do it. And that person doesn't see that he or she doesn't do it. So what does it mean? It's exactly that that person is unaware what he's doing or she is doing. And this is why we are coming to problems in our lives, right? Because we are wanting our best, we put our best, but we received something not as great. Okay, let's stop about sad things and let's do some fun things. So let's deep into the beautiful spiritual journey of The Power of Now right away. And the origin of this book. Yes, Mr. Tolle starts with this beautiful quote. He said, "You are here to enable the divine purpose of the universe to unfold. That is how important you are." Can you imagine, guys? We are divine purpose of the universe. What is going on in our Christianity religion? We are sin. And we feel that we are sin. In other religions are the same. But we are actually divine. What a beautiful thing. I want to be divine. And we are, in fact, we are divine. The whole book will talk about enlightenment. What, in your opinion, what is enlightenment? What does it mean? Just talk, guys, when you are ready.
Self-actualization, coming to a realization, be enlightened.
Awesome.
You know, once you were blind and now you can see, you get it.
Awesome. Brian, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I want to say basically it's to live within the moment, right? Is to sort of be able to sort of capture the moment and sort of stop, you know, almost to use Tolle's language. I think I forget exactly how he says it, but it's something like to stop, you know, living with the insanity of time, and just to be able to sort of capture, live right now, you know,
Okay.
to live in
Okay.
the moment.
Good, adding. Do you want to add anything, Valentina? If not, just say no. Okay. So, and in my thing, for example, the real definition of enlightenment, it's freed from ignorance and misinformation. I like this definition. Ignorance, it's means we are on the level when we don't realize what we are doing. This means what is ignorance means, and misinformation. And for my opinion, from my words, enlightenment, it's realization and understanding how the world is working, who we are, where our place, and who is God. So let's listen introduction. It's 6 minutes. And please try to remember what is catching your attention, or what you don't understand, or what you want to discuss. The text will be also on the screen, so you can follow along with it.
I have little use for the past and rarely think about it. However, I would briefly like to tell you how I came to be a spiritual teacher and how this book came into existence. Until my 30th year, I lived in a state of almost continuous anxiety, interspersed with periods of suicidal depression. It feels now as if I'm talking about some past lifetime or somebody else's life. One night, not long after my 29th birthday, I woke up in the early hours with a feeling of absolute dread. I had woken up with such a feeling many times before, but this time it was more intense than it had ever been. The silence of the night, the vague outlines of the furniture in the dark room, the distant noise of a passing train, everything felt so alien, so hostile, and so utterly meaningless that it created in me a deep loathing of the world. The most loathsome thing of all, however, was my own existence. What was the point in continuing to live with this burden of misery? Why carry on with this continuous struggle? I could feel that a deep longing for annihilation, for non-existence, was now becoming much stronger than the instinctive desire to continue to live. I cannot live with myself any longer. This was a thought that kept repeating itself in my mind. Then suddenly I became aware of what a peculiar thought it was. Am I one or two? If I cannot live with myself, there must be two of me, the I and the self that I cannot live with. Maybe, I thought, only one of them is real. I was so stunned by this strange realization that my mind stopped. I was fully conscious, but there were no more thoughts. Then I felt drawn into what seemed like a vortex of energy. It was a slow movement at first and then accelerated. I was gripped by an intense fear and my body started to shake. I heard the words, "Resist nothing," as if spoken inside my chest. I could feel myself being sucked into a void. It felt as if the void was inside myself rather than outside. Suddenly, there was no more fear. and I let myself fall into that void. I have no recollection of what happened after that. I was awakened by the chirping of a bird outside the window. I had never heard such a sound before. My eyes were still closed, and I saw the image of a precious diamond. Yes, if a diamond could make a sound, this is what it would be like. I opened my eyes. The first light of dawn was filtering through the curtains. Without any thought, I knew that there's infinitely more to light than we realize. That soft luminosity filtering through the curtains was love itself. Tears came into my eyes. I got up and walked around the room. I recognized the room, and yet I knew that I had never truly seen it before. Everything was fresh and pristine, as if it had just come into existence. I picked up things, a pencil, an empty bottle, marveling at the beauty and aliveness of it all. That day I walked around the city in utter amazement at the miracle of life on earth, as if I had just been born into this world. For the next 5 months, I lived in a state of uninterrupted deep peace and bliss. After that, it diminished somewhat in intensity, or perhaps it just seemed to because it became my natural state. I could still function in the world, although I realized that nothing I ever did could possibly add anything to what I already had. I knew, of course, that something profoundly significant had happened to me, but I didn't understand it at all. It wasn't until several years later, after I had read spiritual texts and spent time with spiritual teachers, that I realized that what everybody was looking for had already happened to me. I understood that the intense pressure of suffering that night must have forced my consciousness to withdraw from its identification with the unhappy and deeply fearful self, which is ultimately a fiction of the mind. This withdrawal must have been so complete that this false suffering self immediately collapsed, just as if a plug had been pulled out of an inflatable toy. What was left then was my true nature as the ever-present I am. Consciousness in its pure state, prior to identification with form. Later, I also learned to go into that inner timeless and deathless realm that I had originally perceived as a void and remained fully conscious. I dwelled in states of such indescribable bliss and sacredness that even the original experience I just described pales in comparison. A time came when, for a while, I was left with nothing on the physical plane. I had no relationships, no job, no home, no socially defined identity. I spent almost 2 years sitting on park benches in a state of the most intense joy. But even the most beautiful experiences come and go. More fundamental, perhaps, than any experience is the undercurrent of peace that has never left me since then. Sometimes it is very strong, almost palpable, and others can feel it too. At other times, it is somewhere in the background, like a distant melody. Later, people would occasionally come up to me and say, "I want what you have. Can you give it to me or show me how to get it?" And I would say, "You have it already. You just can't feel it because your mind is making too much noise." That answer later grew into the book that you're listening to now. Before I knew it, I had an external identity again. I had become a spiritual teacher.
So the text is in front of you, and please, whatever you want to discuss, let's do it.
It's not, Lena. The text isn't up.
You don't see the text?
No.
Oh,
I don't.
wow.
You-
Oh my God.
You are here to enable the divine purpose of the universe to unfold. That is how important you are, Eckhart Tolle. That's what we say. Or that's what I
You
say.
didn't see the text.
No.
Okay, wow. Так. I'm so sorry. I've seen it, and right now. Right
Oh,
now,
Lena, You failed your role as leader, I'm afraid. We're gonna have to dock you points for that.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
No,
kidding.
no.
That's
Please
okay.
do.
Listening to it was deep.
Yeah. it
No, right
is.
now,
I
do you
have it
see
in
the
front of
text?
me.
Okay.
Yeah, guys, right now, do you see the text?
Yes.
I see it.
So I didn't know it. Sorry again.
That's okay.
But do know it's very nice to read and listen.
I have the book in front of me on a different tablet that I have on
Wonderful,
Google Pay.
wonderful. So look through, refresh, and tell me what was important to you, what struck you, what pulled your attention.
Things that say like, you know, you have it already. When you're looking for something. I mean, but you couldn't, you know, find it because of the voices in your head or what, there's too much noise going on. What it was, too much noise. I have that problem. I think we had this conversation last time. I don't remember what meeting about listen to the voices in your head. And I kept doing that today. I kept stopping myself and I was, you know, going off and you know, arguing, negative thoughts, whatever negative thoughts that were affecting my mood. You know, I did that today. I kept catching myself.
Did you?
Trying to stay positive. Yes.
That's awesome. It's a very, very big first step to listen, to realize it, to understand it, because we live this way all our lives. How can we, and the other people live the same. So how can we figure out that we are living, no, I cannot say wrong, but unconsciously, if everybody is living that way. Great, great. I like it. Look through, Brian, what did
Well-
catch your attention?
Well, first I wanted to say that, you know, Sean, it's funny you say that because I've been doing the same thing myself a lot. You know, I really, that's one thing that kind of drew me to the book, I think, actually, is that, but really what he was talking about there, I guess what stands out most for me is how, I mean, my response would be is I've been there, you know, what he was talking about there, the whole, you know, the reason he started writing the book. And it's like, yeah, I've been there. I know exactly what he's talking about. I've been there, you know, personally myself. And I think that's kind of why I got drawn into the book, was because, you know, that's what I told you before, Lena,
Right.
that why I got drawn into the book was because I've been, you know, I've been there where, you know, like he was talking about, you know, suicide, all that kind of stuff. I've been there before. And so it really speaks to me sort of what he was talking about. And
Right.
and his method, I guess, of what, you know, what it sort of led him to is very unique. You know, it's not like you won't find very many people who encourage you to sort of do what he's talking about here as a method of dealing with it and stuff like that.
Absolutely, Brian, absolutely. And I want to tell you, add it to you, what you said, that you're absolutely right. And those people like Eckhart Tolle is few in the world. Those people, if we start, who was enlightened? First, who we know, Buddha. And then other people are also enlightened, but not all of them could read could write and they could explain. They are just quietly enjoying their lives by themselves, but they don't have drive to share it with people. And I don't want to jump ahead, but I can tell you, I so understand you because when I was in my, like maybe 10 years ago, I was absolutely the same. the thought, the negative thought was circling and circling in my mind. And while I'm energetic and happy originally, I didn't go to depressed, but I was in horrible mood when I could the whole day cannot get rid of the thought which I was offended, or I was disappointed, or I didn't like what I did, so it doesn't matter what. And right now I can tell you that I differentiate, I see it, and I have already some part of bliss what he's talking, but I don't want to jump ahead and tell you my experience. We have Eckhart Tolle, and let's learn from him. What I will just support and tell you that I was there, and I am still not over there, but I'm on the way, and I completely prove and completely tell you that it's the reality. So, hello, Noel.
Hey, how are you?
So wonderful to see you. So, thank you for joining. By the way, I like I like how you look. The beard looks good.
Thank you, thank you. I
Okay.
wasn't sure, but yeah.
I'm desiring Coca-Cola right now, actually. Suddenly I have a desire to have an ice cold Coca-Cola. Thank you, Noel.
Where are
go.
you? Planet Fitness with the purple?
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at, Planet Fitness.
Are you here in Florida?
No, I'm in Illinois right now.
Are you a Floridian? You
Illinois.
drive around, I see.
I'm a Floridian, yes. I live in Miami, but I'm getting ready to leave in a little bit, like around 8, I'll be in Buffalo.
Okay, guys. Thank you, Noel. Please listen and participate. Let's come back to our meeting. Otherwise, Valentina will run away from us. So, guys, what I want to pull attention with here in this sentence. He was walking and looking at the miracle of life on earth. We had a wonderful conversation on Saturday. What is miracle to you? Well, just honestly, don't be attached to that. What is miracle for you?
Sometimes a miracle is something that needs like divine intervention, you know, maybe winning the lottery or beating Mike Tyson, something they think that needs to, that's outside of our realm of really, of our capability of doing, you know, probably what most people would think a miracle from a religious point of view anyway.
And from our point of view, miracle something which we didn't experience, a miracle something which exceed our abilities, right? Something unbelievably even more beautiful than we have. This is for us miracle, whatever we didn't experience. But in fact, we are walking miracle. I was mentioning that let's imagine that we are accepting everything for granted. But what if we would need to control our digestion? So we ate something, and then we would sit and calculate how much chemicals we need to produce, how many chemicals we need to release for vegetable, for one vegetable, for sour vegetable, for sweet vegetable, how chemicals we need produce for our drinks. Then we were needed to control our breathing. Then we would need to control our hair growing. Then we would need to control our sleeping, our walking. Then we need to create water. Then we need to create air. Then we need to raise the sun, a big group of people, and then we need to pull the sun down. And then we need to create the animals and the fruits and the plants. So everything is a miracle. Everything is working like a clock. We don't need anything to do. And if go higher, let's look from the point view of a creator. For example, it can God, right? So he create everything. He create earth, he create air, he create water for us, he create that we are living here, animals, plants. He set us automatically. Everything is working automatically. What he gave to us, only freedom, free will. Just, okay, guys, manage your life. You have everything set automatically. You don't need to worry about anything. And we even messed up with this one thing. But we will be great. We will be completely great. Yes, Brian, you want to say something?
Well, it's funny. It's like I think the more like I've learned, I think the more I'm almost shocked by the miracle of existence. Really, you think about it, it's like we're like what, like 99.9% empty space, just us being, right? In the small amount of us that's actually like material, makes us what we are. Everything we have, is like essentially space, empty space, and yet we see none of it. It's mind-blowing that there is something that is anything. Sorry.
No, you're great.
It's I mean, the more I guess you learn, the more it's just like it's all just mind-blowing. It's just like, wow, just the idea that anything exists at all.
I think it's a
And
beautiful realization. It's a wonderful realization. And you are a man because you are not concentrating. I see your thing from man perspective. I'm a woman. Valentina can agree with me that we more concentrate on psychology. We more concentrate on mentality. So this is things are more interesting to us because we are responsible for the atmosphere in our family.
oh, I could go on about that too, Lena, really, in truth, if I wanted to. But I guess when you mentioned just the miracle, I guess, it's just something as basic in my mind, just something as basic as, just the idea that, there's like a notebook right here, or even the computer or whatever, things like that. I mean, that's like, the more you learn about it, it's like shockingly, just shocking that such a thing even exists. But I mean, I could go on and on about it, but anyhow, you wouldn't want me to, so I'll just shut up.
Anyway, I understand you. I completely understand you. Let me see what is I would like to share. Так. This now you see the PowerPoint, right? Would this strike my attention? Identification with the unhappy and deeply fearful self, which is ultimately a fiction of the mind. What do you think about it? We need to deeply understand it. As soon as we will put into our minds, we will become to see it. We will able to see it. What is belief? I was asking you already, is anybody remember? It's good to remember it. It will easy our life, make it easy and more comfortable. What is belief? I would ask you to write it down. I'm serious. Belief is just, is anybody can answer? No, belief is just a thought you keep thinking. So what does it mean? That whatever we keep thinking, it become our belief. After it become our belief, it become our behavior. After behavior, it begin our habit, and then we form our destiny. So this is why if people grew up in some religion and they just hear something all the time, they believe in it. If we started to say yourself, I'm wrong, I'm clumsy, I'm unlucky, we become to believe in it. It's absolutely the truth. If we will start to tell, like forcefully, to tell yourself opposite, we will create a different picture. But it's very difficult. Do you know why? Because we actually need to say it with not power out. When we are saying deeply emotionally involved, when we are saying, oh my God, I'm so unlucky, we believe in it, right? And we say it emotionally. So, and if we will say emotionally, I'm great, we will become to create a different destiny for ourselves. But I will repeat it later. Let's go to Mr. Tolle. So really, we need to understand that the unhappiness and deeply fearful self is a fiction of our mind. And how, if I will compare it with animals, for example, if we will take a rabbit, right? Rabbit is all his life, he's running from everything, from all predators, he's running. And if he would have a human mentality, he would be dead probably in the first year of his life. But what he's doing, he's actually growing and he's becoming stronger in running. How does he do it? Because whatever he runs, adrenaline is making him run quickly and he's in stress. He's in a big stress. However, as soon as he finishes run, he forgets about everything and he's living happily. What is happening with a human? We have stress, right? We are coming home and we continue that thought. And we continue that thought. A short stress is a very powerful and good thing. From short stress, we become stronger. It's like a shaking for our body. It's like hardening our body. But when we continue with the thought in our mind, we become not only weaker, but we become physically even sick, starting mentally and then sick. So this, what does it mean? That unhappy and fear is a fiction of our mind, and we are able to stop it. My true nature as the ever-present I am. We will talk a lot about I am because it's really, really different than we thought. What we are thinking I am. I am a father, I am a brother, I am an accountant, I am a businessman. No, it's right, but it's labeling. It's temporary identification. It's not who you are. I can say more easily that don't say like, do not be mystical. It's more toward your soul. And the soul is everlasting, never dying and ever present. It's beautiful. We can learn to go into that inner, timeless and deathless realm and remain fully conscious. Absolutely, it's absolutely possible. And it's beautiful. You will be unshakable. I sometimes
Lena?
go, just 1 second, yes, but I sometimes go back to where I was. But if it's all the time, you need to be aware, but it's beautiful work, it's not hard. But whatever I am aware, I'm going into my I am, and I'm unshakable and happy. Yes, Brian, please.
Well, so like I am is like a state of being, right? Is this kind of what you're getting at? That I am is a state of being and a role is sort of like a, like something, a thing you take on, right? A role like being a brother, being a mother, all these kinds of things are roles you take on, but I am is like a state of existence.
I would say so. I would say so. Yes, I like how you identified. You just need to start to feel it. And when you will start to feel it, it's very difficult to describe. It's
I think I am is the consciousness that he's talking about, that I am. So you realize, you come to that you are, and that's why you're a being. At that moment, you just realize that you
Yeah.
are right now. You know,
Right,
whether it's
yeah,
I'm
that's a good
hungry,
way to
I
put it.
am hungry. Right.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
yes,
Other than
yes,
with
that-
identifying with, you know, what was bothering you, or your hair, or your new car, or just that you are who you are, you know?
Yeah. Those are all, you know, like you could say like, those are all like things that may be true about you. You may be hungry, you may be, you know, whatever, but at the core, you'd say, I am. You know what I mean? It's like, I exist. I am here, you know?
You are right. Just one thing, you are not maybe hungry, you are hungry. For example, if it's the human being still continue, this is who is demanding when we are hungry. It's not demanding you are your true being, it's your body demanding. And I'm sorry, for example, Lord God gave us body, and imagine body as a biological machine, right? And as biological machine should be fed, should be rested during the night. So you completely will feel the same when your body, but you will separate yourself, who you are. Like, no, imagine soul. You will separate and you will know how, like Christ, do know when he was in the desert, he was, how to say in English, not treated, tried to be seduced by the snake, right? Or,
Yeah, tempted. He was
yes,
tempted.
tempted.
There's
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
and it was exactly that. But if we go more simple words, our body needs the care, like sleep, like rest, and like food, and be clean and whatever. So, and it won't disappear, but as soon as we will separate it, it would be like much easier. For example, what is pain? Pain and suffering are different, right? How different is that?
Suffering is probably, you know, tormenting yourself over it, relishing in it, maybe.
Okay. Okay.
Like a pain would be the immediate, like a momentary thing. Suffering would be like the long-term sort
Okay.
of, well, it's not the moment, basically. It's like sorry.
No, everything is right. You're saying everything is right.
Like
Valentina-
never-ending energy, like cancer would be suffering, you know, or when an animal gets sick and it's like he's not going to live, that's suffering. You know, there's no getting
Okay.
out of that.
Okay.
That's like the moment is like future and past. It's like, I don't know, it's like, you know what I mean? When they put animals down, it's they do that because they're suffering. I mean, if you get cancer and you literally eat you up, you know, I guess.
Right.
Mhm. Yes, yes, you're all there. Valentina, if you want to add something, just jump into the conversation, okay? Because I don't want to ask you, maybe you enjoy listening, okay? Okay, great. So basically, you are all right. Let me conclude all your answers. Pain is more physical. Pain is physical, while suffering is mental. Just digest it. Pain is physical and suffering is mental. And so what is pain, basically? We feel pain and we try to eat antibiotics in order to stop the pain. But what is pain? Now, when we can separate ourselves and our biological body with biological machine as a computer. Let's imagine we are creator and we created a human like a machine, biological. So what is pain? Pain is a signal that something doesn't work well in your organism. How different God could create us, right? So in order to, if we have pain, we need to understand your body is by itself signal you, hey, this needs attention. Hey, this needs to be cured. Not taking antibiotics, but cured. Let's look at the suffering, because it's mental. It's the same signal, only on the mental level. And it's saying, hey, in your psychological surroundings, in your friendship or relationship, in your social emotional atmosphere, something wrong. And what we are doing, do we attempt it to fix it? No. We are going and thinking about it. Oh, how bad I am, how everything around me is not good. Do you see what we are doing? It's the same if, for example, we are hungry. What we are doing if we are hungry? It's a signal, right? Body signal us that body needs food. We are going and we are feeding ourselves. Let's imagine that we are doing the same like with our mental suffering, mental problems. I'm calling to my friend, do you know I'm hungry? And my friend is saying, wow, you're hungry, Lena. And then we call somebody else, oh, I'm hungry. Really, poor Lena, you're hungry. Then I'm sitting, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. It's funny, but it's what we are doing with our mental suffering. We don't attempt to fix it. We are going and we are suffering. And we all have already the things how we can fix it. So because we are completely miracles. Let's go quickly and then we will listen again, guys. So he divided his teaching on 2 levels. First level is, of course, we need to figure out what is false in you. Please not false with your neighbor or false with your spouse or false with your mother. We will concentrate on ourselves because we are here to help ourselves. But it's naturally when I learn something, I read something. Oh yeah. What if he would fix it? Would be great. No, we are concentrating, pull our attention on ourselves. So we will look through human unconsciousness and dysfunction. We will look at common behavioral manifestations. We will discover why conflict in relationships and warfare between tribes or nations. It will be very helpful for us as well. And this I like a lot. Please, anybody can read this, the last 3 lines. I want it, please.
Okay, I'll read it. Sean
Oh,
doesn't want to read today.
Ryan, wonderful.
I probably owe it to him. Okay, such knowledge is vital, for unless you learn to recognize the false as not you, there can be no lasting transformation, and you would always end up being drawn back into illusion and into some form of pain.
Thank you. Actually, I don't know why you never read it. You have a nice voice and nice presentation. Brian, what do you understand from this?
I would say that I don't know. Sorry, I'd have to think about it some more.
It's very deep. That's fine. As anybody can give thoughts. Guys, do not be like not afraid. I'm sure you're not afraid. I mean, do not hesitate to be wrong. Do not hesitate because while we are keeping silence, it's progress is going, but very slow. As soon as we are talking and we have our mistakes, we are here to learn. We are not here as professors, and if we will be all enlightened people, we wouldn't gather here, right? So we are learning. Don't be afraid to be wrong.
Well, okay, so what I would point to is sort of the thought that comes to mind here is you know, you can think of like certain things being core, you know, sort of like I almost want to use sort of the you know, sort of like your core, like your core things that are true to you or whatever, that are true of you, and then everything else that is sort of false, and sort of the false stuff being I don't know, I'll have to think about it more.
It's your thought. Yeah, I see what you mean, and actually, I
Not
cannot say
necessarily a
that you
good
are
one
wrong.
though.
You are actually on the way to the realization, Brian. Is anybody wants to add about what Brian read? It's a very, very important because see, he said that we need to recognize it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be lasting transformation. This is why I'm saying this book, every sentence is so deep. And he put it in the beginning. So he meant that we need to understand it.
Is he talking about hi, this is Sangeeta. I joined.
Sangeeta, thank you. I didn't see that you are with us.
Yes, sorry, I just got back from work. I said I have to log in.
Wonderful. Yes, yes. Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, so is he talking about fear and certain thoughts, that negative thoughts that perhaps our human conscious mind you know manifests, and then but that's not the real you? I don't know, I'm trying, because this is a little beyond, I mean, the way he's explained it. I'm just trying to figure out whether he's saying we have to try to explore by positive reinforcement to show that what's, you know, there are certain things that we think of, fear, uncertainty, negativity, that is really, these are just illusions, and these are just false. But our human mind will always think of the worst before it thinks of, you know, good, until you condition it to think and stay in the present. I'm not sure if that's kind of related to what he's expressing.
A lot relate. Very good answer, and you are also going to the way to realization. If anybody want to say before I will say my opinion.
Yeah, I was kind of sort of building on what. Sorry, is that Sangeeta?
Yes.
I want to say I want to say Sangrita, but I was like,
no,
that's
it's Sangeeta.
that's a drink.
Sangeeta. No.
Okay, Sangeeta. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's
Thank you.
it's a difficult name for me to pronounce, I think. Sort of what she was saying about you know, it gets me back, it gets me thinking about, you know, like the overall idea of trying to live within the now. You know, it's like you know, the now is, shall we say, the reality, right? And your mind sort of almost wants to build up everything else except around or away from that. So it's like living in the past, living in the future. All these things are sort of not real. You know, they don't exist, right? They aren't actual, because they're sort of figments of your imagination, as it were. And the moment, like the now, is the only thing that's real.
Okay.
You know, it's like this is everything else is sort of false. It's all sort of projections of the way of your thoughts or whatever, you know, true or false. You can debate that, but false in the sense that what is real is the now, not the then, as it were.
Okay, Brian, good also realization. Let me for a minute come back to Sangeeta. Sangeeta, you said what caught my attention, that positive reinforcement. While do you know you are right, however, this is on our level of our current psychology and philosophies, and this is on the level of our mind. And what as Mr. Tolle is talking, we will be beyond our mind. So in beyond our mind, wouldn't be any, neither positive nor negative reinforcements of our mind. So again, just remember, our body is a biological machine which were given to us. In order that our body would able to operate, it was given the brain. This is why even how smart person is living, you know, I'm sorry, but the most stupid person somehow survives too. Why? Because God gave the mind to every person, and mind is responsible for survival. And you are. Okay, let's for the right now, we can think about soul. This is much easier. And soul is beyond of our body and mind. And when we catch that, we won't need to do any reinforcement of anything. And also we don't need to now to say that what we are beyond, we are great, and the rest is false. The rest is bad, the rest is not good. Everything is beautiful. Everything is wonderful. As soon as we will get that, we will realize how everything is working. So, and if we will come back to here, it's basically what I said, that false, if we are doing something false, it's not we are. What is suffering is coming. For example, I did some mistake. I'm coming home and I'm saying, oh my God, I'm so stupid, and feels bad. It feels so bad because I identify that false as me. But no, I'm pure and I'm beautiful. But what is that goal? Because I identify myself with my mind. Or how some other philosophers talking, it's also helpful. Don't know. Imagine yourself inside like you are perfect, because you are a piece of God. You are part of God. You are cell of God. But while we are doing mistakes, because we are covered with all our habits which we got from family, from surroundings, and we are covered, and we cannot shine as who we are. So, and as soon as this is just the first step, as soon as we recognize that false is not you are, we will go ahead. So do you see, just start to disidentify, like not identify yourself with your mind. So your body is a biological machine and the mind was there. And now, why I'm asking you that? Because only after that, we will be able to control our mind. Right now, mind is controlling us. What I skipped last time, that exercise, but let's do it right now, because it will take just 1 minute. For one minute, we will close our eyes and we will check who is controlling to whom. We are controlling our mind, or our mind is controlling us. For For example, if I'm controlling my mind, right? I will tell, okay, mind, do you know, I'm tired. I want to rest. Please, thank you for your good work. Relax for today. I don't want any thoughts. And if we control our mind, mind should say, yeah, good. But if we cannot stop our mind, if we close our eyes and the mind will give thoughts, what today is for dinner, or I think meeting should be already done. If something will go into your mind, it means mind is controlling us. So I think you got the point, we don't need to do that exercise. If you will be still interested, please do it by yourself. So with this, how we separate each other, not each other, our mind is very important. And the next level, it's we will be already at profound transformation of human consciousness. And what I like that it wouldn't be as a distant future possibility. It will be right now, and it's available right now, and everybody has it. So, and it doesn't matter who are you and where are you and how old are you and how smart are you. It's not about being intelligent. It's given to everyone. How to free yourself from enslavement of the mind. Again, we don't need to go to extreme. We don't need to think that our mind is evil. No, we just mind is wonderful machine. We cannot create that genius machine, but we just need to control it because we are wonderful. And then we will enter in that enlightened state of consciousness and sustain it for everyday life. Really, don't try read with mind only. If we will try to understand, we just don't have that capacity. We just don't. Imagine with ant, and we decided to explain him something from our life. It's impossible. Even dog wouldn't understand what is that, right? What is on our mind. So, and this what he's talking, just trust and believe. Give yourself allowance to go into journey. It would be wonderful. We will discuss every single sentence, every phrase, and we will understand everything. So watch, feel it here. Is anybody wants to add something? And I want to go to chapter 1.
Yes, me.
Chapter
what
1.
Well, just one.
You are not your mind.
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay, no, just based on that, I know it's again, he's telling us that, how he's showing us how to stop being slaves of our minds.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very temporary thing. Sometimes we hear, things like your presentation, and then we are fine for a few days, and again the mind kicks back to. So this is something I think we need to do on a continuous basis in order to just keep reminding your mind, keep telling your mind that it's a conflict between the mind and and what you really want, right?
Absolutely. Sangeeta, thank you very much. And what I tell you, this is why we cannot set this meeting just for one time. It's just excitement for one day. This is why we will have 20-25 meetings. And plus, as soon we have to do practice, we have to do exercise, but as soon you will have a glimpse of it, then nobody will be able to stop you. So wonderful is that. It's like the constant bliss. And it's like training a muscle. So when you practice, you cannot go to bed with like a thin muscle and wake up and your muscles are great. No, you know that you need to go and practice, right? And this absolutely the same. but I really want to influence you that it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Okay.
So now, do you see the text, please? Guys, do you see the text?
Yes.
Wonderful. So let's start.
Enlightenment. What is that? A beggar had been sitting by the side of the road for over 30 years. One day, a stranger walked by. "Spare some change," mumbled the beggar, mechanically holding out his old baseball cap. "I have nothing to give you," said the stranger. Then he asked, "What's that you're sitting on?" "Nothing," replied the beggar, "just an old box. I've been sitting on it for as long as I can remember." "Ever looked inside?" asked the stranger. "No," said the beggar. "What's the point? There's nothing in there." "Have a look inside," insisted the stranger. The beggar managed to pry open the lid. With astonishment, disbelief, and elation, he saw that the box was filled with gold. "I am that stranger who has nothing to give you and who is telling you to look inside. Not inside any box as in the parable, but somewhere even closer, inside yourself." "But I'm not a beggar," I can hear you say. Those who have not found their true wealth, which is the radiant joy of being and the deep, unshakable peace that comes with it, are beggars, even if they have great material wealth. They're looking outside for scraps of pleasure or fulfillment, for validation, security, or love, while they have a treasure within that not only includes all those things, but is infinitely greater than anything the world can offer. The word enlightenment conjures up the idea of some superhuman accomplishment, and the ego likes to keep it that way. But it is simply your natural state of felt oneness with being. It is a state of connectedness with something immeasurable and indestructible, something that, almost paradoxically, is essentially you and yet is much greater than you. It is finding your true nature beyond name and form. The inability to feel this connectedness gives rise to the illusion of separation from yourself and from the world around you. You then perceive yourself, consciously or unconsciously, as an isolated fragment. Fear arises, and conflict within and without becomes the norm.
But I want to stop for a minute. He will talk about Buddha, but he said so many wonderful things. What do you want to say? Do you want to say something? What pull your attention? I can go here. Yes, Sean.
That if he looked inside the box, he already had what he really was looking for. He's asking somebody for a meager 15 cents when he was sitting on his retirement, like it was time. He didn't even think to look sometimes.
So what does it mean, do you think?
He wasn't in the moment, his mind was thinking about, hopefully somebody will come by and give me 15 cents. Oh, look, there's somebody, that was kind of him looking into the future instead of like right now, you have something that you don't even know. You didn't even think to look, but you have.
Yes.
You think you just think it's just a box, but meanwhile, did you ever look inside the box? Maybe you had, but you had already.
It's great that you point to this. Yes, Noel.
I think a lot of times, we're too busy trying to find other ways to see how people can help us out, that we don't stop to look from within and see our own abilities, you know, and look and like, you know, like go, like a lot of times when people are like worried about, like as a younger kid, I would be like, you know what, I need money for gas when I was like 15 years old. And, you know, I had back then I had heard something similar to what we're reading back then. And you know, one of my friends' grandfather has said, you know, he goes, stop asking for money, look from within. I'm sure you can find money, you know, from within. And I couldn't figure it out at the moment.
Okay.
And that day I said, you know what, let's look under the seats. And I was always giving people rides in high school. And sure enough, under the seats, you know, I came across like almost $17 in change from people's change falling out of the seat, out of their pocket and falling into the seat. So, you know, like I said, a lot of times people don't look from within. They're too busy trying to figure other ways for people to contribute to be successful. And when you have all the tools to be successful.
Great, Eden. Thank you, Noel. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So, guys, to all of you, I'm enriching with your opinions, and I'm just adding my opinion. Under the gold, it doesn't mean real gold. It's mean joy, peace, and happiness. And we are looking for joy and happiness outside of us. We are going on the party, we are buying some things, we are acknowledging, we are acquiring a lot of, not a lot of wealth, money, gold, but it doesn't give us happiness because it's very temporary. And the real joy, happiness, and peace are inside of us. This is what is exactly mean. And those who have not found their true wealth is actually are beggars. So it doesn't matter what you have and how much you have. If you are unhappy, if you are not in peace, you're a beggar. Anything you want to discuss? This is beautiful, what it was saying. It's starting from here. Your natural state of felt oneness with being. This is very, very, very deep. This is not the oneness with yourself. This is actually oneness with God. This is oneness with everything. I won't go again into sharing my view of God, but if we will just imagine that God is the universe and everything is his cell. Like maybe Valentina didn't hear, if we will go on ourselves, Aristotle, do you remember he said that know yourself and you will know the world. And we are a part of God, we were made in image of God. So learn yourself, and God is absolutely the same because we were made in his image. So let's look at ourselves, we have cells, right? And all cells are working for our goods. Right? But if we are happy, our cells are happy. So the same if universe is God and we are his cells and the animals his cells and plants his cells and the water his cells. So we all need to work not for him or for our pleasure, as well as we will have not pleasure or joy and happiness, and he is experiencing through us himself. Like we are taking care of ourselves taking care of us. My eyes are looking when I want. When I'm looking, my ears listening what I'm listening. Whatever I put into me, my organs are digesting. So this is what does it mean, felt oneness with being. And a little bit further, he will ask about question being, and under being, he will talk about God. So it actually doesn't matter to be in peace with yourself or to be in peace with everything with God, with being. And then it's much more peace, don't know. It's like, don't know, if we will imagine ourselves, we are sitting on the boat. And we are with our free will, we are free to do whatever we want on the boat, but the boat is going to the direction which we cannot control. And this is our life. So while we are having free will, we cannot change where we are going. We just can't. But this is not that, oh, I cannot change it. That's horrible. God is taking care of that. We are taking care of ourselves, right? We want to live. We want to do good things. We want to feed ourselves well, right? Because we are depending from how we feel. And God is the same. He's taking care of himself. He wants to feel great. We are taking care of ourselves and he's taking care of us. But we depend from each other. And when we understand that some bigger and brighter and omnipotent taking care of us, because it's basically who he is, then why to worry? Why to bother? Just enjoy your life and stop with that masterminding and we will fix it. Well, because, and see now it's begin more clear. So oneness with being, so oneness with yourself and oneness with God, right? He's talking about state of connectedness with something immeasurable and indestructible. What does it mean? First, he's saying, feel oneness with being, okay, with yourself. It's a state of connectedness with something immeasurable. It means connectedness with a God. Something that paradoxically is essentially you, because God is you. God is cells, everything around, like animals, plants, we are, it's God cells. And it's you, yes. And yet, read further, is much greater than you. Because yes, we are part of God, we cells of God, but God is greater than us. That's it. I ask you, read it again. It's like when in this way you will think it's understandable. And next, what he's saying, and because we don't feel connectedness, we think, oh, I need to do everything by myself. Everything, I'm responsible for everything. If I won't do this, I will die and blah, blah, blah. So we feel that we are alone. Gives rise to illusion of separation, and it gives fear and unsatisfaction and unhappiness. Isolated fragment. Fear arises, conflict arises. Yes, I would listen with this, like the last thing about Buddha, it's not very interesting. Let's see.
Time. You used the word being. Can you explain what you mean by that? Being is the eternal, ever-present one life beyond the myriad forms of life that are subject to birth and death. However, being is not only beyond, but also deep within every form, as its innermost, invisible and indestructible essence. This means that it is accessible to you now as your own deepest self, your true nature. But don't seek to grasp it with your mind. Don't try to understand it. You can know it only when the mind is still. When you are present, when your attention is fully and intensely in the now, being can be felt, but it can never be understood mentally. To regain awareness of being and to abide in that state of feeling realization is enlightenment.
It's actually basically, he explained it again. You now can see actually word by word what was here, what's starting from enlightenment, starting from this paragraph. It's absolutely the same, but different words, but beautiful explanation. It's 7:28. Would you like to listen about God, or we will leave it to the next time, because it's beautiful, and it's a little bit longer. It will take like 5 minutes. What would be your decision? Hello. Would you like to continue? Or
I
we
have
will
to leave
stop?
now, but maybe I'll join you the next meeting. I'll look forward to it.
Okay, so the
Thank
first girl decided our decision. So let's finish. It's almost 7:30. So we have something to think. What I would ask you, please start to think. Not think, start to catch what you are thinking about. Start to listening the voices in your head. Just it's the first step. Do not go further. Just start to listen the voices in your head as often as you can. If you forget for some time, do not scold yourself. It's completely normal. We were living there all our lives. How can we change like this? It's impossible. And especially pay particular attention to any repetitive thoughts. Like don't know, like all gramophone records that it's playing and playing and playing, and sometimes it's playing for many years, but we weren't aware of it. Okay, so this will be our first homework for the whole week. And don't scold yourself. No, praise yourself, how good you are that you caught it. You are already on the step to enlightenment. Thank you guys so much. I tremendously enjoy our interaction and our communication. See you next week. And Valentina, you are, and Sajita, you are in our group chat. Valentina, do you want that I would add you to the group chat on WhatsApp?
Yes, please.
Do I have your phone number?
Yes. I can write it on the chat if you want.
Yes, please. Yes. Please.
Okay.
Brian, please text something in the chat board, whatever you want to discuss. We will do it. It's very, very beautiful thing where we are. It's a beautiful journey. Okay. Did you? Yes, chat, I see. Yes, Valentina. Okay, thank you so much. And I see all of you next Monday at 6. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.